Before European settlers first came to Schoharie Valley, the valley had been near continuously occupied for almost 9,000 years by different native cultures. It wasn't until about the 1400s that the dominant culture here may have been Haudenosaunee, more specifically Mohawk, but it also could have been Algonquian, or more specifically Mohican. So it's hard to tell on some of the archaeological sites because some of the cultures are so similar. But certainly by the 18th century, there was a small occupation of Schoharie Mohawks in the valley. Two in particular at the time of the Palatine arrival. One was just north of Fox Creek at Schoharie. There were about 40 inhabitants of a small village there. And then there was what may have been just one family, and that belonged to Karighondontee. The tradition says that Karighondontee was the so-called first native occupant of Schoharie Valley. Of course, we all know that's not true. There's plenty of archaeological evidence that points to many occupation sites here before him. But as tradition goes, he was a supposed French war chief who might have been captured during King William's War in the 1690s, taken to one of the Mohawk villages on the Mohawk River, where he married the daughter of a chief. But because he was French, or at least the story goes, because he was French, some of the warriors, when they'd get drunk off of the Dutch alcohol that was freely given, especially at places like Fort Hunter, they would threaten the life of Karighondontee. So as the story goes, his father-in-law gave Karighondontee land here in the Schoharie Valley, and he moved with his wife down here. Of course, there's many things wrong with this story. The most important one is men were not the landholders. If anything, his wife, who may have been named Catherine, was given the land. The women in the Matrilineal Society of the Iroquois, they are the land keepers. But at any rate, Karighondontee shows up, or at least variations of his name show up in different documents. But in 1716, in a division of land by Adam Vroman, it specifically states that Karighondontee's house was 2,000 yards away from a specific spot that divided two lots of land. And that would have put him pretty much on the right-hand side of this line of trees that is all that's left of the Dovegat. So that would put him right near what is the traditional place called Wilder Hoek. Now the Dutch called the natives here De Wilden. So Wilder Hoek is kind of an English version of what was probably De Wilden der Hoek. It was just a little corner. It meant corner of the savages. Now savage shouldn't get anyone really truly upset, because all that means, and it's a French word, sauvage, which basically means not Christian. It doesn't really have any other connotation other than what folklore has given it. But at any rate, this was a little corner, about 20 acres by the time of the Revolution, and it was in that little indentation just past the Dovegat to the left as it juts into, as the Schoharie Creek goes around it. And that was their corner. That was a corner that the Vroman family had set aside for them, that they would never, even though they owned it, they would never remove them from there. So the little village was small, and by the time of the Palatine's arrival, when they started spreading out, the people of Schoharie consolidated with Karighondontee's family, and it was just a small community of Mohawks until about the 1750s, when the river Indians joined them from Schaghticoke.